How's it going, hockey fans? David here, and today I will be predicting what will happen in the NHL 2020 playoffs. To help me with the video today, I prepared a bracket, and basically I'm going to be going over all the play-in series which have been confirmed and will be happening. Which all the players agreed on. Sorry, we're not sure when it will be happening, but players have agreed on this format. So I'm just going to be breaking down every play-in series and then predicting what I think will happen the rest of the way. To do this, I will just go series through series for the first round matchups, which are determined by the seeding games, which basically the top 4 teams in each conference play to figure out who they're going to play after the play-in round. I just assume that 1 will be 1, 2 will be 2. For example, like Boston, they finished first. I assume they're going to finish in the 1 position. So after round 1 on, this all may be for nothing, but it's still interesting to see what the matchups are. And there is a good chance this ends up being the way it goes down. So I'll break down every round. I'll focus a little more on the play-in series just because we do know those are happening. And so I will display the bracket after I go around, after every round. So let's go. We'll start off right away here with Toronto versus Columbus. So before I get into explaining who I think will win Toronto versus Columbus, I'm just going to quickly explain what you're seeing on the screen here. So on the left side, you have the higher seed, which is the Toronto Maple Leafs, and on the right side of the screen, you have the lower seed, which is the Columbus Blue Jackets. And basically, it shows their forwards, their defensemen, so the forwards on the left, defensemen on the right. Just underneath all that, you have the 2 goalies. Then underneath the goalies, you have all the injuries. The only reason Columbus has the injuries on the right is because there's so many injuries on Columbus, but that's an exception. So for the rest of the videos, it'll be offense and defense, then goalies, then injuries. And I got all this information from Daily Faceoff. So definitely check them out. It was very useful for this video. And the reason why I show the injuries is because Daily Faceoff was last updated before the last game of the regular season. So because of that, some of these players who appear injured, who will actually be there by the time the NHL starts playing games, are currently, because of what happened, they're not in the lineup. But a lot of them will be there. And then also you have the head-to-head games in the middle. And as you see, there's a little at the bottom of the screen, there's a poll. Basically, I went through every play-in series, and on Twitter, I asked my Twitter followers who they think would win each round. So as you can see, 54.5% of them think Columbus will win. And I'm actually going to disagree. I think Toronto will win this series. And if I had to pick a number of games, my gut's telling me 4. And the reason I say this is that I like Toronto's lineup better. And although Columbus was decimated with injuries, as you can see in the bottom right corner, by the end of the year, Josh Anderson without, Atkinson, Jones, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Texier, Murray, all injured. And they were still putting up a good amount of wins. But at the end of the day, I like Toronto's goaltending more. I like their offense more. And although I think defenses are pretty similar, I think Toronto's defense is still serviceable, and I think that they will win this series. So I'm going with them. So the next play-in series, Pittsburgh, Montreal. And 85.7% of my followers said that they think Pittsburgh will win. And I'm going to agree, but I think this will be a very close series. I can see it going to Game 5 if they end up going with the best of 5 format, but I think they will. That's what it sounds like. But so I see this series going the distance, and the reason I do is because in terms of advanced stats, in terms of possession, expected goals, Montreal is up there with the league's best. But the thing is, their shooting percentage has just been low all season. But with the help of Carey Price back there, I can see them taking a few games. But ultimately, Pittsburgh stars like Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and the good support around them, I can see Pittsburgh making a deep playoff run. So I think they're going to take out Montreal in the play-in round. So next, Islanders, Panthers. I like this Islanders team. I think their center depth with Pajot is very solid, with Barzal, Nelson, Pajot, and then Brassard on the 4th line. I like their wingers too. I find the defenses, the two teams, pretty comparable. And then Obviously, Bobrovsky in Florida's net gives them the boost in goaltending, but I do think the Islanders will win this series. Defensively, they're very solid under Trotz, and I think that their offense, although Florida has the better like star power, I guess you can say, I do like I like the offense of the Islanders, so I see them taking this series, but it's gonna be close again, and I'll say 4 or 5 games. Yeah, I'll say 5 games. It's gonna be close. Next, Carolina and Rangers. Another good series here because although the Hurricanes finished higher in the standings, and 59.1% of my followers said that they see the Hurricanes winning, I am going to predict that the New York Rangers take this series. And the reason I do is because I think that the star players for the Rangers will have more of an impact than the star players for the Hurricanes. Although I think that I think the Carolina offense will go through Svechnikov. But I can see guys like Aho and Teravainen who are key to this team if they're going to want to win this series. I can see them getting shut down by the Rangers. I think I like the Rangers defense. Mrazek last year in the playoffs was good. I think the goaltending are still the goalies on both sides are kind of comparable. So yeah, I think again it's going to be a close series. But I see Rangers winning this in either 4 or 5. I don't know. I'll go 4 games, but I think the games are going to be tight. I just think the Rangers are going to take this. Okay, so next, Calgary-Winnipeg. 60% of the followers said that the Jets are going to win, and I'm going to have to agree with them. This team has a lot of experience in the playoffs. I like Connor Hellebuck a lot as he's a front runner for the Vezina Trophy. Their defense was definitely took a big hit after what it was last season, but they've done okay all season long. But I think the offense with guys like Connor, Scheifele, Wheeler, Ehlers, and even Laine if he gets hot, I think that beats Calgary's, and I can see Winnipeg winning this series in 4 games. Next, Edmonton-Chicago. I actually had a very difficult time predicting this one because despite Edmonton finishing significantly higher in the standings, I like the Chicago offense under DeBrincat, Taves, Saad, Strome, Kane, Kubalik. I like their forwards. I like Edmonton's defense a bit more. And goaltending, I don't see too much of a difference either way. Maybe I'll go Edmonton's as being a bit stronger maybe. But even though I was just pumping the tires of the Hawks here, I still think Edmonton's going to win this series in 5 games. And the reason why, 2 names, McDavid, Draisaitl. I think McDavid's due. He's been... And those 2 can single-handedly take the series over. And with a shaky Chicago defense, I think Edmonton's going to win this series. But I'm going 5 games. It's going to go the distance. So next, Vancouver, Minnesota. And this is the only poll where my Twitter followers said 100% of them all voted that the Canucks would win. And makes sense considering that my Twitter handle is @FanVancouver, and almost all my Twitter followers are Canucks fans. So, and I'm going to agree that I think the Canucks will win this series. I think that their goaltending under Markstrom is more solid than Minnesota's for sure. I'd give Minnesota's defense the edge, but I like Vancouver's offense a lot more than Minnesota's. The Wild traded Zucker at the deadline, so they're missing a big winger there. And I just think with Pettersson, Miller, Besser leading the way, then depth forwards like Horvat, Toffoli, Pearson, Virtanen, I think Vancouver's going to take this one in 4 games. Now the last series here for the play-in round, Nashville versus Arizona. I predict with the 72.7% of the people who voted, I think Nashville is going to win this series, and this is the only sweep which I am predicting. I say this just because Nashville has a lot of experience. I like Nashville's defense a lot. Their forwards can get the job done, and I think and their goalies are still good. Even though I'd take Arizona's goalies probably over them, I just think Arizona slowed down at the end of the season, and I believe Nashville's good in the playoffs. They got hot at the end, and I think Nashville will take this series. Perfect. So now we're out of the play-in series, and I'm going to go update the bracket. Okay, so this is what the bracket is looking like after the play-in series. Our new matchups are Toronto, Boston, Pittsburgh, Philly, Islanders, Tampa, Washington, Rangers, Jets, Blues, Oilers, Stars, Nucks, Avalanche, and then Golden Knights and the Predators. So let's break this down here. The first one in the East, Boston, Toronto, and this is going to be a fantastic series. I hope they do best of 7 starting round 1, because I can see this game going 7 games for 3 straight seasons. For 3 straight seasons. I think it'll be close. I think Boston has the better team, but I think this year Toronto gets this done. They have a lot of fire in them. And yeah, I think they're young players like Matthews, Nylander, Kapanen, and Marner, after they have some playoff experience under them, and I can see them performing, and I think that Toronto will finally get it done this season. Oh, and sorry, I should add, by the way, like there is the head-to-head in the middle, like the bottom middle of the screen, and I haven't really been addressing that too much. It's kind of just for you guys to look at. I don't think head-to-head makes too big of a difference going into the playoffs, just because things change in the playoffs. You don't know what injuries are like throughout the season, and the game is just totally different in playoffs, and certain teams strive while others may not, and so that's why I don't focus on the head-to-head that much. So, Philly, Pittsburgh, and I think Pittsburgh takes the series. I like Carter Hart a lot. He has no playoff experience under him. And so I don't think Philly's going to lose this series because of Hart, but I think for Philly to take out Pittsburgh, Hart's going to have to perform at the top of his game. And I think with stars on Pittsburgh like Crosby, Malkin, and Letang, I think that's going to be difficult. And I like Pittsburgh's team a lot, and so I see them taking out the Flyers in this one. Okay, next. Lightning and the Islanders. In my opinion, the Lightning have the strongest lineup in the league, and I've literally predicted them to win the Cup like 3 years in a row, and hasn't happened. But with a healthy Tampa team going into the playoffs, they're going to be angry with how things finished up last year. I really think they'll take it. Although I was just praising the Islanders for the center depth, I think they do have a strong lineup. I like Tampa's more, and Tampa has a lot of experience in the playoffs, and I don't know. I'm not trying to overvalue experience, because I know you don't. The way experience works is like everyone's got to get it somehow. So this could be the year for the Islanders, but I do think that Tampa will take them in this round. So next, Capitals, Rangers. And this one was really hard because I like the Capitals team more, but upsets got to happen. And if I see an upset happening, I think it could be this series. The Rangers finished hot. And if Panarin and Zibanejad can keep doing their thing and their goalies can perform, I think the Rangers take Washington here in what will be a very close series. But that's my boldest prediction probably in this video, that the Rangers take the Capitals. Next, St. Louis, Winnipeg. And I see St. Louis taking this. They're the strongest team out in the West. Binnington is, he's going to do his thing. I like St. Louis's defense more, and I think their offense are pretty comparable. So St. Louis just has the better team all around. Hard not to pick them to win this series. So I'm going to go Blues in like 5 or 6. So Stars, Oilers. And like I said before, I was really debating the Oilers-Chicago series, and it's because I like both those teams a lot. And I think Edmonton will win this series. I think Bishop will definitely hold the fort down for Dallas, but if Edmonton's defense can find a way to keep Dallas's top line off the board, I think they'll definitely take this, because McDavid and Draisaitl are not getting shut down. So, and then if they can just get a bit of secondary scoring, I really see Edmonton taking this series. And yeah, ultimately I like their Stars more than I like Dallas's, and I think that they'll end up performing and take out Dallas for another upset. Okay, so Colorado, Vancouver. And as much as my biased Canucks fan in me wants to pick Vancouver, I'm going to go with Colorado. I think Vancouver definitely has the edge in goal, but I like Colorado's defense more, and I like their offense more. I think the teams are kind of built similarly, though, but I think that they're built similarly, but Colorado is just basically a better version. I think in a few years, Vancouver could have what Colorado has if Pettersson develops the way everyone hopes and is expecting him to, and Quinn Hughes turns into the star defenseman that we all want. I think they can end up being very similar teams. But for now, I think Colorado still has that edge, and I think Colorado will take out the Vancouver Canucks in round 1. And what I think will be a good series, though, because although I always say that head-to-head is not that important, it is always close games, and they're always fast, exciting games, and I think that both teams kind of play similarly, so I see it going the distance, but Colorado taking it. Okay, finally, Vegas, Nashville. I don't think there's a team in the West that scares me more than Vegas. Their defense is solid, 2 really good goalies in Fleury and Leonard, and good offense. What else can you want? And although Nashville does have the experience, I think Vegas's goaltending and slightly better offense is what's going to push them to take out Nashville in round 1. So I'm going Vegas here. Okay, so yeah, that does it for the round 1. I'm going to go update the bracket. Here we go. Round 2. This is what the bracket's looking like. We got Toronto, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Rangers, St. Louis, Edmonton, Colorado, Vegas. Let's get into this. So, Pittsburgh, Toronto. I think Pittsburgh wins this series with the more experience they have. And Crosby, Malkin, they can get it done, man. That you've seen so often in the playoffs. Pittsburgh come through, and I think they're going to do it again here. I like their team more, and I like their experience, and I have a lot of confidence in Pittsburgh. And so I'm going Pittsburgh over Toronto, even though both teams are really good. And at this point in the playoffs, either team can win, but I'm going Pittsburgh if I had to predict. Okay, so next, Tampa Bay, Rangers. And I think this is where the Rangers season ends. Tampa's team is just so much better. So at this point in the playoffs, the Rangers are 2 rounds deep. Tampa's only 1 round deep. And I think Tampa's gonna do it. I like their goaltending more, their defense more, their offense more. And this whole time I've been talking about Panarin and Zibanejad getting it done for the Rangers. I think that Tampa's offense just outweighs that and what the Rangers are going to be create offensively. And so yeah, I'm gonna go Tampa Bay here. Okay, next, St. Louis, Edmonton. I have St. Louis winning this one. I think this is finally where McDavid and Draisaitl can't just take a game by themselves. Although they always can win games by themselves, obviously, just those two. I think St. Louis can control that with solid defense like Pietrangelo, Parayko, Falk, and a good offense of their own with Binnington and net. I don't think Edmonton's going to be able to win like they were able to in the play-in round in round 1. So I'm going St. Louis will take this series. Okay, next, Colorado, Vegas. This is going to be a very good series. I like Vegas's goaltending a lot more. I like their defense a lot too. And offense, Colorado has higher up end just because of McKinnon, Rantanen. But Vegas has a very solid offense too with guys like Marchessault, Pacioretty, Carlson, Mark Stone, Riley Smith. And they have a tough team. Vegas is built for the playoffs. Look at that 4th line. Even their 3rd line has grinders. I think Vegas will get this done. They have more experience than the Colorado Avalanche have, and I like their team. They don't rely on as few guys. They kind of win using their whole team, and I think Vegas will take out Colorado. Okay, so now we made it to round 3. Let me update the bracket. Here we go, round 3. This is what the bracket's looking like. We have Pittsburgh and Tampa squaring off in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then we have St. Louis and the Vegas Golden Knights in the Western Conference Finals. So let's start in the East. Tampa, Pittsburgh. This is going to be a great series. This is going to be a really fun one to watch. I'm going to go Tampa Bay. And the reason is Pittsburgh has that extra round already where I think it's going to 5 games with Montreal. So, and also, like I said, Tampa's team, I've predicted them to win the Cup like 3 years in a row. They have such a good lineup, and this group needs to win a Cup at this point, and I think there's going to be a lot of fire in them. And I think with this great offense that Pittsburgh has, Tampa can still find a way to outscore them, especially because I like Tampa's defense more than I like Pittsburgh's. So, yeah, I'm going Tampa, and I think it's going to be a great series, though. If the NHL does make it so it's 7 games, I see it going 7 games for sure. Okay, so now we're at St. Louis, Vegas, and I think this will be a hell of a series. I think that if you had to go in goal, they're pretty close. Obviously, I'm not going to take into account Jake Allen because he's not going to play. It's going to be all Binnington. So if I'm going Binnington, Fleury, or whether for some reason it's Leonard, I think it's close there. I don't think there's a real advantage. Offensively, again, it's really close. I think it's a tie offensively. Then defense, St. Louis. Yeah, I'm going to give St. Louis the edge defensively. But again, it's close. Like, these teams match up in a way that they're both, it could really be either way this series. But Vegas scares me. I like their physicality, and I know St. Louis is a tough team. I'm not knocking them for that. But I like Vegas's bottom 2 lines a lot, and I think the top 6 are pretty close on each side. And with still solid defense, I can see Vegas winning this series in what will be a very close one. But I think this is where the defending champs finally go out, and it's going to be a great series, though. It can really go either way. This is just more me being terrified of Vegas because I think that maybe it's because I watch them a lot because they're in the Pacific, but I think they're a very scary team to play against in the playoffs, and I can see them going to the Stanley Cup Finals. So finally, here we are, Stanley Cup Finals, Tampa Bay and the Vegas Golden Knights. And this is a tough one to predict, but I think Tampa Bay win it. And that's right. As I said earlier, I predicted them for the past 3 years. I'm predicting them because they got to win eventually. This team is too good not to win a Stanley Cup. I think Tampa does have the edge offensively and defensively. Goaltending, it's close. But I think this is the year they do it. Their guys are hungry for a cup, man, and they deserve it too. And they have the team. So I think this is the year it happens. I'm predicting Tampa Bay to win the cup. So here we go, guys. That's the bracket. Tampa Bay, Cup champs. Let me know what you think, what you agree with, what you disagree with. Thank you so much for watching this. And yeah, let me know what you think. Follow me on Twitter at FanVancouver. Like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. And go Canucks go.